Hey everyone, I'm Meredith and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a thrift store book haul. And this is going to be like I guess a new tag that I'll do. I find some really cool things while I'm there, even in the books. So I wanted to share those with you guys today. And I spent like less than $20 on all these books. And I got some classics as well as some, old favorites and some new things that I haven't even read yet. So I'm really excited to show this to you. So without further ado, let's begin. All right, so the first one I have to show you guys is Treasure Island. Now this one is by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is a classic. I'm sure we've all read this one in school and everything. I have 3 little kids that will be going to school pretty shortly. Like I have my middle child's going to kindergarten soon. So eventually they're going to need to read this book. So I have it for them on the shelf now. Charles Dickens' David Copperfield. Now the binding is a little worn and so is the cover, but it's just going to be for personal use. It's just a classic that I might want to keep on my shelf for a while, and especially again to help my kids out when they get to that age where they need to start reading those. Count of Monte Cristo. Now this was in great condition. I think I got this for maybe like $1, maybe $2. But it's great condition. There's like nothing wrong with the binding. All the pages are in here. I mean, look, that's really nice. So I love the Count of Monte Cristo. This was one of my favorites growing up. So I'm really glad I got to keep this and actually add it to my collection. So another favorite of mine that I got, this is the movie edition. I would like to get the regular classic edition. I had that when I was growing up and I misplaced it somewhere, I guess moving. This is Aragon. Now I love this book. This book is great. I remember being so shocked when I was a kid, like he started writing this book when he was 15 and had it published at 19. That's insane. So he inspired me to start writing, and I still write to this day, but he was definitely one of my inspirations when it comes to writing. And but the movie was not my favorite. The movie kind of sucked and it missed out a lot of details that really just kind of bothered me. So I'll probably never watch the movie again, but this book is great. Now with the movie edition, it comes with some pictures from the movie. But yeah, I mean, as far as condition goes, it's a little beat up. It's, got some creases here. It's got a torn edge right here. But all in all, I'm really glad that I picked this up, and I'm excited to see if my daughter will like it. Eldest, which is the second book in the Aragon series. I don't have the other ones that I picked up from the thrift store, but this is a paperback, and this is like the classic version of it. Still have the sticker from when I grabbed this. This was only like 50 cents, and there's no pages missing. And I think it's cool that they have the pages listed like right here. Can you see that? It's weird. But I really like how different this one is, and I'm excited to have this one as well. Okay, so this one is a paperback of The Hunger Games. Now, we all know what The Hunger Games is. This is a newer novel. It's newer, well, I wouldn't say a newer novel, but it's definitely been quite popular over the last few years. So I picked this one up. This is the one that they had at the thrift store. This was about 50 cents. So it looks like the original price of this book was $8.99. So I think I got this for a steal. I mean, it's in really good shape, and I can, have more money to buy new books now. I mean, I'm not rich. Catching Fire. Now this one, I ended up finding the hardback copy for it. It's really good shape. None of the pages are missing. The only thing that I really need to do is just dust off the cover, and it looks like this right here has been bent. So we're going to unbend it and fix that. So yeah, this was about $1. So again, I saved a bunch of money on this book just by going to the thrift store. It's amazing what you can find at a thrift store. Mockingjay. So I found this one at a thrift store as well. Like crazy, right? Okay, so this is new. If you guys have read Gone with the Wind, then I don't know if you guys realized, but there's a sequel. had no idea that Gone with the Wind had a sequel. Although it's written by a different author. It's by Alexandra Ripley, and the original author is Margaret Mitchells. So I remember when I was a kid, I had tried to read Gone with the Wind. I haven't gotten through it. It was like 1,024 pages, and I was so shocked. Like, man, I can't even read this many pages. And then a year later, I read like all the Harry Potter books. I don't know what I was doing, but I'm definitely going to give Gone with the Wind another try because the movie was actually really good, and I'm hoping the book is even better. And then I'm going to save this one for, I don't know, a rainy day when I want to read the sequel later on. And I just thought this was really neat considering how big this is. This is like a textbook almost, and it's hardback, and I got this for $2. Okay, so the next book that I got was a book. It's called The Orc King, Transitions 1. It's a Forgotten Realms series book, but it's written by R.A. Salvatore. I love this man. He's written so many books, like The Legend of Drizzt and Gwendovar and all these cool like fantasy realms and worlds. Like, this guy is literally the king of making other worlds. So if you ever if you're writing a book, or if you want to try your hand at fantasy writing, you need to read this guy, because this guy will seriously I don't know, he'll wow you on how many worlds he can create. He was an author or co-author of The Reckoning, that MMO that came out a few years ago. He's written so many great things, and I don't know, on top of fantasy writers, he's definitely my favorite. So I buy any and everything of him. Even if I already have the book, I just buy the book again. I don't even care if I get doubles, because then I can share them to my friends. That's how passionate I am about this man. So if you guys have R.A. Salvatore books, give them to me, please. Okay, so the next book that I have is another classic. This is a Scholastics edition. It's got some wear and tear here. It's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I got this book for about 50 cents. This is another book that I would like to have on my shelf for, classics. I love collecting classics. I love having them on my shelf, even if I don't want to reread them. They're just always a good thing to have. It looks like the Scholastic had this priced originally as $2.99. That's still not a bad deal for original price, but I got it for 50 cents. So at the end of the day, I think I got a bargain. This is gonna be just like one of those neat looking books that I could keep on my shelf, like Moby Dick by Herman Melville. I read this book years ago, probably when I was about 15, and I got this book because just look at it. Look how neat that is. I'm gonna just put this on my shelf as makes me look smart, or like a conversation piece. And I don't know, it even smells really good. It smells great. Okay, I'm wondering which edition this one is while we're here. Okay, I don't see a copyright page. Hold on. I don't know what that I don't see a copyright page. Does this exist? Okay, so I don't know which edition this is. If anyone in the comments can help me with this and just let me know, that'd be really cool. I got this in a used book sale, and it just looked really neat, and I just really would love to have this on my shelf as well. Next thing I got, I'm really excited about. Come on. All right, George Washington Werewolf. You remember that movie that came out, Abraham Lincoln Vampire? Oh my gosh, that was the greatest movie ever. It was so cool to see Abe Lincoln in that, historical context of him being a vampire. And, well, no, he wasn't a vampire. He's a vampire hunter. I'm sorry. It's one of my favorite movies, and I don't even know okay, he was a vampire hunter, all right? So it was just really cool to see him in that kind of context. But George Washington Werewolf, I think that'd be really neat to read. Look at his eyes. Look at it. I got this for a really cheap deal. I thought this would be kind of cool to read, and I could probably read this in the sitting, so I don't know. I'll probably come back to it later if you guys are interested in me reviewing this. I'll come back to it. On the next sequel that I got, Dracula. Dracula apparently has a sequel as well, and it's called Dracula The Undead. And this is by, I think his name's Dacre Stoker. He's a descendant of Bram Stoker. And then it looks like there's a second author, Ian Holt. I'm not sure if he's a direct descendant or like a cousin or something, but I think it's really neat. This was a hardback book, the sequel to the original classic of Dracula. I just figured it'd be really interesting to see how they made the story, you know, progress after Dracula. And on the back of this, it says he returns. So, I don't know, just kind of looking at this, it makes me think of like, I don't know, I'm going to totally do a far-fetched theory here and just say, hey, maybe Dracula was like, I don't know, Jack the Ripper or something. It just kind of has that vibe for me, and I'm really excited to read this. I picked this up just because I have a weird fascination for cannibals. Like, I don't think I'd ever be a cannibal. I think it's really gross. But if I were on a lone island and it was only me, like, and some other person, would I eat that person to live? I don't know. Maybe I'm not crazy, who knows? But it's just fascinating. But I got Red Dragon, and I got this book for about 50 cents, and it's Meet Hannibal Lecter for the first time, and it just had this really cool picture of Anthony Hopkins on the front, and I've seen all the movies, but I've never read the books, so I figured I'd just give this a shot, so I picked it up. Okay, so I'm writing a ghost story, and I'm writing about like a girl who falls in love with a ghost, okay? So I figured I would pick this book up, and I don't laugh, but it's just really interesting, and it might help me with my writing. The Big Book of Erotic Ghost Stories. Look at that tush. All right, so I mean, if my book looked that good, I'd probably show it off too a little, but I don't know. My husband kind of joked on me a little bit for buying this, but you know, it's I'm actually secretly really excited to read this. Like late night reading, you know, it's like a little guilty pleasure, who knows? But I don't know, I figured it might help me out with some of those difficult scenes that I might have to get through. Hint, hint. But yeah, this was about 25 cents, so I picked it up, and I'm just gonna hide it from my kids for as long as I can. The last book that I got on my field trip to the thrift store journey is, this is a political book, so if you're not interested in this, and you can just kind of fast forward. I got Slandered by Ann Coulter. Now, I don't really want to get into politics or anything, but I like to read books on both sides of the parties, like the left side and the right side. I like to read articles on all different sides so I can form my own opinion, because, you know, it just makes more sense to do it that way. But this right here is, she's obviously a conservative because it says liberal lies about the American right. And this book was about $1, and it's a hardcover. It's in good condition. And she's a New York Times bestseller. I've heard a lot of good things about her, and I've also heard some bad. So I figured I would just read this along with some of the other books that I had just laying around about different politics and different subjects, current event subjects. So I figured I would just read this whenever I was done reading my Fantasyland books. Okay guys, so thank you for joining me here in Freddy on my video on, you know, thrift stores books, like all the really cool things that you can find at thrift stores. So if you haven't already, just please hit that button and subscribe to me. I will have lots of cool new videos, book hauls, wrap up. Thank you for watching my video, and have a great day. Bye.